Hey, middle school volunteers. Oh gosh, guys, I am so excited for this Sunday. This past weekend, we were at Mix and we had an incredible time. Out of the 8 kids that we took to summer camp, 3 of them rededicated their lives to Christ, and 1 of them accepted Jesus for the very first time. And oh man, that gets me so hyped and so excited, and just absolutely fills my cup. So if you aren't Caleb or Martina, I hope that you had an incredible weekend, that you had some time to rest and relax and just recover and fill your cup and spend some time with the Lord. This Sunday, we are going to continue on in our series called How to Friend. And this is our last message before school starts. And this message, I think, is really timely because we're going to be focusing on kind of 2 things. First, we're going to be using a verse from the book of Proverbs. We're going to be using this counsel of wisdom, this nugget of truth. And I've got it on my screen, so that's why I won't be looking at you. It's Proverbs 12:26. And it says, "The righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray." And basically what we're going to be getting at is we're going to be using this nugget of truth and we're going to be paralleling it with maybe the greatest friendship in the entire biblical story of David and Jonathan. And because these 2, Jonathan chose to be friends with David because they should have been opponents. They should have been fighting against each other because David was the anointed, chosen person of God to rule the country. But Jonathan was heir to the throne, and Jonathan still chooses to be friends with David, and he's hailed. We're talking about him 3,000 years later. Like, that's incredible. And so we're going to be getting into that idea. The biggest aspect of it, though, is that you can choose your friends. And when you do that, you have to do that carefully with wisdom and looking at stuff. Because so much of middle school is not choosing your friends, but just gaining friends because of proximity. Because you go to the same school, you take the same classes, whatever. You're on the same team. And then you're just like, I'm friends with this person because I see them all the time. Now, one thing that we are not going to be talking about this week is we are not going to be trying to dog on students as friends. We're not going to be trying to say, like, ditch those losers because they're not Christians, because they're not good, whatever. We are going to try to say, have some wisdom when it comes to picking your friends. And this year, how can you make really great and helpful and meaningful friendships in your life? Now, as we get into small group, I want you to just be aware of and thinking about 2 separate things. First off, this weekend, you know your group dynamic. You know your kids in your small group, but I just want you to be aware and thinking about the kids in your group that this topic comes so easily to. They're like, oh yeah, I have tons of friends. Making friends is super easy, whatever. And there's also going to be kids on the other end of that spectrum to where they may not feel like they have any friends. Some of your kids, few of your kids, really may not have any friends. And so this entire conversation, as you're talking about it, don't paint too broad of a stroke. Whenever you're talking about, we make friends or whatever, include that sometimes it's hard. Talk about how the fact that sometimes you may feel like you have no friends or you really may not have friends. So that way those that don't have friends can feel included in the conversation as well. And they don't feel excluded from this. The second thing that I just want you to be aware of and thinking of as we get into this Sunday is that this is a big conversation to where you are probably going to want to lay out some ground rules at the beginning of your group of what it means not to gossip. The way that I've always thought about it is if I am talking about somebody and then they were to overhear the conversation, would they feel good about it or not? If they feel good about it, then I'm praising them. And if I'm praising somebody behind their back, like that speaks volumes. if I were to have overheard a student being like, man, Adam rocks, I'd be thrilled. But if you're talking about somebody and if they were to overhear it and they felt bad, it's gossip. And for our middle schoolers that are still struggling with abstract thought because they're still concrete thinkers, one way that you can nail this down is just say, don't say any names and don't give away too much information. Specifically thinking about like our middle school girls, if you're like, hey, don't say any names. And one of our girls is like, okay, I won't say any names, but my friend who happens to be the lead pastor's kid just is like, don't be specific. Let it be an enigma. And then that's one way to kind of work your way around it. It's really helpful for middle schoolers to say like, this is the rule. Now, what the night is going to look like is we're going to do what we've been doing all summer. We will be outside, hanging out, playing some games, just having a good time. 6:30 will hit and we will start kind of the programming aspect of it. We're going to pull all of the chairs out first and take a seat around the campfire. And then I'm going to go around and I'm going to grab a few volunteers to bring their best friend with them. And then we're going to play a game because we've been talking about friends. And this week we're talking about picking friends. We're going to play a game called Pick Your Friend's Nose. Now, it is not what you think. Instead, what we're going to do is these pairings of kids that we have, we are going to bring up a couple other strangers, a couple other random people from the group, and we're going to have this curtain stood out with 3 slits in it, 3 cuts. And then all 3 people are going to stick just their nose through the cut. So that way, behind a black curtain, you will only see 3 noses. Now, we'll find out if a friend can really pick their friend's nose. There may be bonus points if a friend actually... No. There won't. I tried to do that seriously. I can't. There will not be bonus points for picking anybody's nose. After we pick each other's noses, we will, gotta get together. We'll go into a time of worship. And then after that, we'll go into the message and we'll break into small groups. There is a part of your small group leader guide. I'll send you all 3 pages so that way you can look over all of them. But you're going to get 8 little cards that are prompts. And it says a kid's name and it says a little bit about that kid. The small group leader guide walks you through this, but I just want you to be aware of it. That basically kids are going to be judging these friends and being like, I would want to be friends with this person. I wouldn't want to be friends with this person. And what that is so helpful with our middle schoolers is because you're kind of flexing that abstract thought a little bit more. You're doing a little bit of perspective taking of that imagination of real life scenarios. So I think that'll be really helpful. And I'm curious and excited about how your conversations go. I think that this will really help unlock some stuff. Now, that's everything this weekend. Coming up, there's 2 big events that I want you to be aware of. First is that next Sunday, during the AM, we are, as a congregation, going to be doing worship in the park in downtown Bellevue. It will be a blast. I hope you can join. It'll be so much fun. I love it. And as a bonus, there's so many dogs, but that's just me. That Sunday night, so next Sunday night, we are going to be doing our final summer event, and we're going to be out on Mercer Island at Luther Burbank, and we're going to be doing our last lake day. It's from 4 to 7 p.m., and I really, really hope that you can join us. This is going to be such a fun event just to hang out with your kids, have a great time, bring your family, bring your dog, make it a blast. We're going to be doing some grilling, and we've got 2 boats, and we're even going to try bringing some kids out to water ski. We'll see how that goes. I water skied even just this morning and took half of Lake Washington up my nose. So I probably won't be water skiing. I definitely won't. That's this coming Sunday. After that, on Labor Day weekend, we won't be meeting, partially because it's Labor Day weekend, partially because I'll be out of town in Hawaii. It'll be a blast. And then on September 11th, we are doing our big fall launch event, Pizza Palooza. And what I need from you, I really desperately need you to be there. And second is I need to know if you are willing and able to drive students around on that night. If you are, please respond in either this chat or in the all volunteers chat that we've created, and say yes or no. And if you can, tell me how many people you can fit in your vehicle, excluding you. So if you're driving, you're like, I can fit 3 students. Anything works. If you've got a moped and you're like, I can fit a student on here, or if you're like, I've seen it happen in other countries, they fit like 30 people on that moped, we probably can't get away with that. Just straight up, can't do it. But if you can drive students, please let me know. Sometime after this weekend gets done, I will send you guys out a video more detailing what that Pizza Palooza will look like, and we'll go through everything. So please let me know if you can do that. Guys, I am so excited for this Sunday. I think that it will be a great setup as we lead into the fall, as we lead into school starting, and I cannot wait to serve with you this Sunday night.